How's it back? How's it back?
Turn it off.
I did. You put the heart.
No, Aaron, you said.
You can have. Have the resolution. Everybody has it? Take your All right, let's call the meeting to order. Tyson, call the roll.
Bonanno.
Here.
Nigel Evangelista.
Here.
Christopher Kelly.
Here.
Lawrence Cunningham. Nicholas Lima.
Here.
Jennifer Almeida.
Here.
Nikki Acumalomo.
Here.
John Andrews.
Here.
Kimberly Fernandez. Aaron Holland.
Here.
Joshua Laguerre.
Here.
Jordan Leonidas.
Here.
Jasper Zendi.
Here.
Christopher Volpe.
Here.
Aaron Buckley.
Here.
Cole Bentley.
Here.
Ann Dion.
Here.
Tyler Patterson. James Spinner.
Here.
James James.
Here.
Travis Escobar.
Here.
Mariana Chevali.
Here.
Thomas Lima.
Here.
Adeline Dulame. Salvatore Dewey.
Here.
Gary Penfield.
Here.
Stephanie Lewis. Derek Nicholas. Doug Kane.
Here.
Marissa Weiss.
Here.
Melissa Pantolino.
Here.
Charles Joey Sola.
Yeah.
Randy Jackson.
Here.
Please stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, first item of business on the agenda is the approval of the agenda.
Motion.
Second.
I'd like to add something to the agenda, new business.
All right, first I need a motion to approve. Motion made by Mr. Laguerre, seconded by Mrs. Bentley. Ms. Rosendo.
I'd like to add conflict of interest.
Conflict of interest?
So C.
New business C. Conflict of interest. Ms. Rosendo. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Howard. Discussion. Discussion. Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, state no. Abstentions. Motion carries unanimously. Any more amendments to the agenda? Yes, Mr. Buckley.
I'd like to add old business, RIC to resolution.
Business.
Second.
With the resolution.
What would you put down on the agenda?
Discussion. A motion has been made by Mr. Buckley, seconded by Ms. Almeida to add RIC to resolution to item A, new old business, which would be the new item 6 on the agenda, or above new business item 7. Any questions? Any discussion? All those in favor of adding item A, new business, say aye.
Aye.
All those in favor of adding item A to new business, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Abstentions. Motion carries. Discussion. Any further discussion? Yes, Mr. Howard.
Oh, it's not discussion. Was, or we were looking at something about the webmaster, or, last meeting we had a discussion about webmaster, and we agreed to resolution, but then you sent me an email
Yep.
saying Pat Collins, and unfortunately voted it down.
Well, we don't need a, I was actually bringing that up in my speaker comments, so we don't necessarily need to add an agenda item for it. But it's up to you, though.
Well, I mean, I think as long as you have a plan, it's not necessarily add an agenda.
Okay. All right, any further discussion? Motion is made, second to approve the agenda as amended. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion carries. Next item of business is following proclamations. Mr. President, have any following proclamations?
None today, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. President. Next item of business is open forum. Is there anyone here for the open forum? I have two. Number first, Ms. Pantolino.
I'm coming to you, president of the Bachelor of Social Work Organization, and we attempted starting last summer, to get a website for our organization, and it hasn't been put up yet. So we went just recently last week and talked to Ian, and they told me that that a couple of the organizations haven't been able to have a website established yet due to the fact that student government took a server and won't give it back. Well, whatever it is, I was just wondering if there's any way we could get a website and or if the intent was them to purchase the server, if that's possible, so other organizations on campus don't have to miss out on having a website, because even if it's a conflict between student government and them, we're losing out as an organization, and I know that there's 6 other organizations too. So I was hoping that they would be here too, but there's email sent out, and I'm speaking on behalf of them, I guess.
So, that'll either be part of the agenda for a future follow meeting, or be brought to the executive council's attention. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anyone else for the open forum? Yes.
Hi, my name is Steve Rice. I'm a transfer student. I just started this semester. I'm interested in starting a student organization that would be responsible for an inter-campus TV station of some sort. We're still trying to work out logistics. I'm hoping to solicit some interest from students at large who'd be interested in operating a TV station that would cover things of general interest, your meetings, obviously, athletics, things of that nature, open to all students. We're not sure our name yet and all that. We're going through the process right now of getting the paperwork together and all the necessary stuff. Also, tonight's meeting I'm filming to put on YouTube, and we'll send you the link, Nick, and you can forward that to anyone who's interested if you want.
Okay. Anyone else for open forum? Anyone else for open forum? Okay, now I'm not calling open forum closed. Moving on to office announcements. The President, Steve Minko Incorporated, Christopher Banal, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Might be against the rules, but I just want to comment on that. The server that we took back was ours to begin with, and we used it to host our website. Now, I'm pretty sure the technology committee is looking into ways to see whether or not students can host their own websites, but Mr. Kelly will have a report on that in the next couple of meetings as the chair. So we've actually already begun to look into that, and I appreciate concern. It's not like we stole the server with ours, so we bought it, we use it. So, with that being said, there's a couple of things that I want to go over. I hope everyone had a wonderful winter break. I did. It was quite snowy, a lot of snow. I hope that everybody's rested and ready to get back to work. And I welcome everyone back. There's a couple of things that are left over from last semester. Looking back on last semester, we had a great semester. I think we got a lot accomplished. We improved our public relations. If you look at the last anchor of last semester, apparently we were the only thing going on campus for that news cycle. So it's a nice picture of the town hall meeting that on that cover page. So I think our PR is improving, and we're moving in the right direction. As far as things that goals for this semester, everything that was started last semester, I hope that we have the energy to finish, and I expect that we will have the energy to finish, and I expect nothing less from the executive board and Parliament as a whole. New goals for this semester will be to develop a system for online voting for class elections. So maybe more than 6 people out of a senior class will elect their president. Also, the roundtable revamp that was talked about in my campaign speech, and again, we're planning of a rally at the State House to combat the rising cost of tuition. Those are the 3 main goals that are new goals starting fresh for this semester, in addition to everything that we started last semester. An update on some of the things that we talked about last semester. The webmaster, I sent out an email to certain folks. I know it was on Marissa's weekly newsletter that she sends out. It was in the briefs that the whole college gets, and Dr. King also sent out a college-wide email to solicit applications for webmaster. I received, I would say, about 4 or 5, the exact number of those applications. I won't accept any more after Friday, but I have received a couple, and we're going to look at those. I'm going to whittle it down to probably 2 people and bring that to the executive board before I make a final decision, bring those people in for an interview before a final decision is made, who I'll nominate right to this spot. Not sure if everyone got Speaker Lever's email, but although got received a majority vote at the last meeting, needed 2/3. We're not aware of that until after the meeting, so again, we don't have a vote, but the policy passed, so you know what our parameters are. But that's in the process. Other than that, I hope we have a good semester. I hope we can continue to do work together and we close out the year with a positive. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. That concludes my remarks.
Thank you, Mr. Bonanno. Next up is the Vice President. Go ahead. Yes, Dr. Campbell.
Chris, do you have an update about the furniture for Building 3 in Alger Hall?
I think I'll defer to Treasurer Collier.
There's a meeting at 11 a.m. on Monday to sit down. There's some refurbished furniture Dr. Locke would like us to look at before we go in and buy brand new furniture that I guess it's from other state institutions, like when they redid stuff that might be more suitable than what we're looking to buy new. If not, we're going to make the final decision on what's being purchased so we can purchase the Building 3 furniture. The outer furniture I'm hoping to have on the February 4th finance agenda, assuming that not too many clubs. Like if we get down to like J again, I'm going to have to put it off one more meeting so we can get the club's work done first. But hopefully February 4th, I'll be able to tell you whether Alger's furniture passed or not. Thank you.
Anything further, Dr. Kane?
No, thank you.
All right, moving on to the Vice President of Student Union Incorporated, Manuel Evangelista. Mr. Evangelista.
Thank you. I just got back from Miami. Miami mode still. Made Dean's List last semester. I'm graduating in May. I also found out that there's now an award given out every year. It's called the Evangelista Kerr Award, which now I will always be infamy here. But it's my uncle's actually, it's an actual Veterans Award that the Student Veterans Association is giving out, and my uncle, so I wanted to just let people know that my family's doing stuff. But I just wanted to say that we're finishing up a few things. We're going to finish up the election policy that I want to pass. That'll probably be the next 2 meetings or so, and that's pretty much it.
All right, Mr. Evangelista. Mr. Bonanno.
Are you going to be a Jesus Christ Superstar around Easter time?
That is a secret. That's a secret. It'll be revealed around that time.
All right, Charles Heston, plan of the Apes.
Block 3.
Mr. Evangelista?
Yes.
Do you know when the next public meeting is?
The PR meeting will be now held on Mondays, 5 p.m. Is that so?
Is that beginning next week?
Yes, this Monday. Via email sent out.
Next up is the Secretary Lawrence Cunningham. Mr. Cunningham has a leave-in for this evening, but I was working with him throughout the break on various minor projects to improve the communication flow in his office, which I'm sure he will report on at the next meeting. Next up is the Treasurer, Christopher Kelly. Mr. Kelly.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I only have a couple quick announcements. The first being that the senior class is selling coupon books as a way to offset the cost of Senior Week. Jen has some with her. If you guys want to just take a look, if you want to buy them, I think they're $25 book. If you're interested, just see her off the break or after the meeting, or any class officer at any point should be able to sell you one. Next is the budget packets for our budget hearing time are due back the end of next week. So just be prepared for some pretty long meetings in about March or April to discuss the rest of that. I think that's all I have. So thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Our next order of business is my announcements. I have a few leaves this evening. Please grant me an early leave. I just found out that my priority 1 patient is being discharged from the hospital tonight, so I need to leave by 8:30 p.m. at the latest. Thank you, Mariano Cavalli.
Motion.
Motion made by Mr. Escobar, seconded by Seconded by Ms. Ashley Malumbo. Discussion. Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? State no. Abstentions. Mr. Cavalli abstains, motion carries. Hello, Mr. Speaker. I'll be leaving you due to a meeting conflict. I'm very sorry. I hope you understand. Good to be back. Go keep Bentley. Motion. We'll be leaving around 7:50 p.m. Motion is made by Mr. Laguerre and seconded by Mr. Buckley. Discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Abstentions? Mrs. Bentley abstains, motion carries. I'd like to put in a retroactive leave due to being new to Parliament. I was unaware that there was a meeting on December 10th, 2008. Bernie Jackson.
Motion.
Motion made by Mr. Escobar, seconded by Mrs. Bentley. Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Abstentions? Motion carries. Dear Parliament, I will be 30 to 45 minutes late to the meeting tonight, as he has a meeting at 7 p.m. Tyler Patterson.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Bentley, seconded by Mr. Laguerre. Discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Abstentions? Motion carries. Student Committee Government, I'm not going to be able to attend the meeting today due to a family situation that I cannot describe in detail. Please excuse my absence. Thank you. Adeline Delonay, Jr.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Laguerre, seconded by Mr. Escobar. Discussion. What is that motion again? Motion to approve? No one said motion to approve, by the way. Everyone said motion. Motion to approve is made and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Abstentions? Motion carries. Finally, on SCG letterhead at that, Mr. Speaker, due to a previously scheduled engagement, I cannot be present at the January 21st Parliament meeting. I will definitely attend the February 4th meeting with a plethora of updates. Yours truly, Laura J. Cunningham, Secretary.
I second that motion to approve.
Mr. Speaker, the name is approved by the Secretary, Mr. Laguerre, and seconded by Mr. Banana. Discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no.
Support the motion, vote in favor of it.
Rule that out of order. Abstentions. Motion carries. That's all I have for leaves. I have one other important item of business, and that is an issue, of course, that came up with the webmaster last meeting. You all received an email. It was great. We need as Mr. Brown stated earlier, we need a 2/3 vote motion for that to pass, and we only had a majority. So I need someone to make a point of order to alert me to the fact that the previous vote is in violation of the bylaws.
Point of order.
Yes, Mr. Bonanno.
The previous vote did not carry the sufficient majority, the sufficient number of positive votes in favor. It made a mistake.
Is that one strike against you?
Yeah, that's my first strike. Thank you for that.
First strike.
Yeah. Thank you for bringing that to my attention, Mr. Bonanno. As such, I'm going to rule the vote that was taken to approve the confirmation of the webmaster at the last meeting out of order, and that the motion in fact failed. So, once again, we don't have a webmaster, so that's reapproved.
Talk about that.
I had one other item of business. I would just like to read Parliament very briefly. Say you can. It's a resolution of Parliament honoring the late Senator Claiborne Pell. Whereas Claiborne Pell was elected to the United States Senate by the people of the state of Rhode Island. Whereas Claiborne Pell served 6 terms in the Senate from 1960 to 1996. Whereas in 1972, as a member of the Senate, Claiborne Pell was instrumental in creating the Basic Education Opportunity Grants. Whereas the federal Pell Grants, renamed in honor of Claiborne Pell in 1980, have helped over 54 million low-income and middle-income students, including many present members of Parliament, attend college and achieve their educational goals. And whereas on January 1st, 2009, at the age of 90, Claiborne Pell passed away in Newport, Rhode Island. Be it resolved that Student Parliament of Rhode Island College hereby publicly acknowledges Senator Pell's commitment to creating access to affordable higher education for thousands of Rhode Islanders and for millions of Americans. And be it further resolved that Student Parliament extends its condolences to the Pell family on behalf of the student body of Rhode Island College. And be it further resolved that Student Parliament reminds our present state leaders of the importance of providing affordable higher education, especially during the dire economic conditions we presently face. And be it further resolved that Student Parliament encourages all elected and appointed leaders in the state of Rhode Island to remember Senator Pell's belief in the importance of affordable higher education for our society's future and considering whether to make reductions in funding in the state's budget. And I'm looking to have this resolution passed by Parliament or no?
Motion to pass the resolution.
Second.
Motion has been made by Ms. Almeida and seconded by Mr. Lima. Discussion on the resolution from the speaker's office. Hearing none, all those in favor of passing the resolution and sending it to the media, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Abstentions? Motion carries. That's all yours, Mr. Bernard.
I'll switch.
All right, I have no further announcements. Next order of business on the agenda is the Deputy Speaker, Josh Gilgare. Mr. Gilgare.
Well, I would like to say, welcome back to Parliament. We got enjoyed the break. I did. I have a couple of things to just, announce to you guys. As you guys know, last semester we had a bunch of complaints from town hall meeting discussion. Even within our committee, we discussed different things. So today I met with Donna Kadicki from the Institution for Research, and she cleaned up our survey. So I'd like to request that you guys help us. The date is February 11th. All I need is about 5 to 10 power members, and if more wants to come, it's cool. But basically what's going to happen is we're going to go out, whether it's the Quad, Donovan, Gage, Hall, the Rec Center, and there's one more location. And basically what's going to happen is we're going to conduct a survey, and we're going to have them sign it, and we're going to take it back, and then we'll bring back on the report as to what happens from the survey, then go to administration. But Don Kennedy approved the survey, so we're good. So, question.
I wanted to know if there was anyone, if there was going to be surveys being distributed to the East Campus, West Campus, wherever Building 9 is, East Campus.
You have a social worker? If you'd like to do that, we can do that.
Who had that?
We have the rec center.
Yeah, but that's way East Campus.
Oh, free period, I'm sorry. February 11th, free period.
And we're
We can meet upstairs. We'll talk about the details. After the meeting, if you're interested, please talk to me. We're gonna have a meeting next week for additional services, so we can talk about details. You're leaving. Oh, okay. Anyone else is interested, let me know after the meeting. That's the first thing. I just have a couple things to go over. Over the course of the next couple of weeks, I'll be meeting with Donovan, Arthur. I'll be meeting with the director for the library. And if you'd like to join me, Aaron, we'll talk about trying to move for getting the library open later. Another thing we're going to meet is with security. We started to have communication, and as chair of the Conditional Service Committee, I figure it's right that we go straight to them and see if we can address some of the issues on campus. So I know recently there was an incident that happened on campus, and that's not a good thing. So I have security, finance, I have Donovan, I have the library, I have the Union Center, I have Dress Life, and I have this last issue that somebody on campus actually brought to me. They said, why don't we have more women on Parliament? Because there are a lot more women at Rhode Island College, whereas we have a lot more men on Parliament. So I'd like to ask that you guys try to recruit more women to Parliament, because it makes sense that we have at least some more, women on Parliament to have the ratio better. So there's a lot going on in my office. So anyone wants to help out, and anyone seriously, anyone wants to help out, anyone gets involved with what we're doing here, let me know, and that concludes my announcements.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker.
Well, friend.
You have one question? Yes, Mrs. Jackson.
Do you know the ratio for that?
Women to men on campus? I do not. Is it
No, for Parliament.
Parliament? No.
Properly 2 to 1, men to woman, whereas the campus is the other way around.
What do you? Shame.
Weber, have you started working on it?
Weber. No, but that's the Res Life piece. That's the Res Life piece. I'm going straight to the top and seeing what their priorities are. So.
Rather than saying if anybody wants to help on February 11th, 12:30, 1:30, we're asking that you guys can help, because the more bodies that we have to distribute surveys, the more honest responses that we'll get. So please don't think of it as, if you can, think of it as, we need you to help.
It's free period.
It's a free period.
We're trying to get the students when there's enough stress. So after the meeting, well, I'm going to assume now, thank you, Sarah. I'm going to assume now that everyone is committed to helping out this day. I have Jen shaking her head.
No, I can't commit to that.
Okay. That's cool. But
People have other meetings and other things that time, so.
I'll send an email. I'll send an email out to everyone. And hopefully, if you can help out, it's really good. Thank you.
The ratio is 2.73 to 1. Problem.
Are you talking about tonight though, or do you have the actual, you know?
I
have
did.
the attendance?
All right, moving on to our next item of business. Old business, written resolution, Mr. Buckley.
Okay. Last semester, Parliament brought Tim McCormick here to talk about RIPTA and subscribing Rhode Island College to the UPass program that RIPTA has. And at the end of that meeting, we had voted to draft a resolution, send it out to Parliament, get everyone's opinion, and then hopefully send it out to the administration. That resolution is in front of you now. It's not emailed, so I'm just going to read it, and then it'll be open for discussion. Resolution endorsing the participation of Rhode Island College in subsidized bus travel through partnership with the Rhode Island Public Transit Authority. Whereas the student body of Rhode Island College suffers from inadequate public transportation to and from our campus. Whereas the cost of private transportation is rising, compounded by fluctuating and unpredictable costs of fuel. And whereas Rhode Island College is the only public institution of higher education in the state of Rhode Island not to offer subsidized public transit to its student population. And whereas this body annually faces debate on the parking situation for students and faculty across Rhode Island College's campus. And whereas after professional testimony from the Rhode Island Public Transit Authority, we find that bus travel can be subsidized into a light and manageable fee upon the student body, not to exceed $20 per semester. I'd like to add that's a worst-case scenario according to Mr. McCormick. And whereas Rhode Island College is predominantly a commuter campus and public transit is a service that the entire student body can enjoy, and whereas the Rhode Island Public Transit Authority offers UPass, a program designed to work with Rhode Island institutions of higher education, both public and private, in order to subsidize bus rides for students through use of the e-fare system, in partnership with each college's ID card programs at considerable savings to students. Be it resolved that student parliament of student community government at Rhode Island College desires that a credible and accurate survey be done of the student population before the end of this academic year to determine the level of student support for RIPTA access to be subsidized by a fee upon the student body. And be it further resolved that student parliament of student community government at Rhode Island College endorses the concept of Rhode Island College's admission to the Rhode Island Public Transit Authority's UPass program in full capacity and urge the administration of College President Nancy Cariolo to embrace UPass and pursue membership in this program.
Motion to approve the resolution.
Second.
Motion been made by Mr. Andrews, seconded by Ms. Almeida to approve the resolution. Discussion. Ms. Huntlis, Mr. Escobar.
I would like to know what happened to the E-board doing the resolution.
I believe Ms. Bonanno worked with you, didn't
This resolution was supposed to be sent out the night of that Parliament meeting through email to every Parliament member so that you guys could provide feedback directly to President Bonanno. But due to circumstances that I have no business knowing about, it didn't happen. So I drafted the resolution.
Have you responded, Ms. Bonanno?
No, thanks for that.
What's being discussed is the resolution on the RIPTA debate that was started that meeting a couple meetings ago. Mr. Escobar asked why it wasn't sent by the executive council as it was originally intended.
Well, there's two reasons for it. One is the end of the semester caught up with me. And once the semester had ended, I figured it would be better to wait to see what people think in person and have it in front of them. Once the semester ended, people had finals and whatnot, and I wasn't sure whether or not they'd actually take the time to read it or when they'd remember it. If they're not in that frame of mind when they open their email. I did mention it to the president in our executive meeting, and the other officers can attest to that, so she knows about it. But I felt more comfortable dealing with it directly from in the meeting, especially since I knew the agenda for this meeting would be like. As far as whether or not I drafted, Aaron put together most of it, and I looked at it, touched it up, and that's pretty much how it went. He knew more about it than I did, and I figured it'd be more accurate if he did. So.
Now, if Aaron Buckley didn't do the resolution tonight, how long, what was the timeline on this?
It would have been done tonight. It would have been done next day. Because, I said that it would be done. He obviously made a huge one, but we'll make last night.
Anything else, Mr. Escobar?
Nothing.
Mrs. Weiss?
Yeah, I'm not married.
I'm sorry.
I've learned some important people in my life that yeah, I was curious, Aaron, if you can talk about the survey piece.
Yeah.
If you had, a plan in mind for, what would be asked and knowing that Dr. Kane had administered for the survey, how it would differ and, what kind of information are you looking for?
Am I allowed to respond to that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. There isn't a set official plan in motion, but how I would like the survey to go overall, instead of going through the RIC webmail system, which I believe is how the last survey was done, I would prefer to approach students directly. Say, choose 5 to 10 large capacity classes that happen to be that would be in lecture halls, and see if professors would allow 5 minutes at the beginning of class to fill out that survey. Hit. Let's see, my social psych class in Gauge 100 has, I think, 150 students in it alone. 5 to 10 of those classes across campus would hit maybe 1,000 students. Hopefully, individual, unique students. That's close to 1,000 students, and that's 9% of the school's population. I think that's better than a couple hundred students through email. Does that address your question?
Yeah, no, I would just, when you start drafting the questions, encourage you to look at, because I know there was an issue about whether or not you were asking, it was 2 separate questions to ask students, would you like the service? And then the other question of how much would you pay?
Right.
Wondering, just to, when you start looking at that, to be cognizant of, do we want to find out if people want the service? And then later on you can ask them, how much would you pay? Because sometimes when you ask them together, then it's, yeah, well, oh no.
Would you feel better if I drafted those questions and then brought it to Parliament for consideration and approval? Would everyone feel better about that?
It sounds very nice.
I think if I could also answer, my outlook is a little bit different than Aaron's, and I think we'll work together on it. I had envisioned talking to the president about how to create a survey. President of college, maybe she could. We have a lot of academic folks that I'm sure have created surveys before half the college who might be willing to take on to create it with the questions and how to accurately determine whether or not folks want it or not. And that's kind of the direction I was thinking. As far as administering it, I agree 100%. But I think surveys can be quite tricky, and perhaps consulting with school management or this communications course where people have done polls.
Question?
Yes.
I would just recommend that you just I met with Don. That's what they do.
Okay.
I would just recommend you go there.
Am I allowed to address Ms. Weiss still? Ms. Weiss, I don't necessarily care as much about the structure of the survey or who does it, as much as I don't feel comfortable with the survey unless it contacts and gets feedback from a minimum, absolute minimum number of 700 to 800 students. I don't think 100, 200, 300 is indicative of the student body's opinion at all.
I mean, there are ways that, there's a formula obviously for it that the folks on campus who work on campus can give us that particular number where, all right, this is what you need to get representative figure, whether it's percentage or an actual number or whatever. You don't want 40 kids, 40 folks representing 10,000 in the survey. It's not really representative, which is why I think that outside of this room we need more of a cross-section of folks than the people in this room, because we're pretty small compared to local college as well. So whatever that number is, the folks that have degrees and doctorates and that stuff should probably let us know about.
Also, Ms. West?
Yeah, what that person does.
No.
Yeah, that actually.
Ms. Andrews?
Yeah, Mr. Buckler, I was going to agree with Mr. Laguerre. You should talk to the Department of Research in the communications major. I know in that kind of research, you need to have an accurate random sample. I mean, 800 students may not be representative of 10,000. It could be lower, it could be much higher. But working directly with the Department of Research, whose job is to carry that out, that would be the best way to go about that. Otherwise, I do think the questions, that would be something I would work with them on also, but just to make sure you ask, just to make sure it's worded properly, maybe run it by you, people in the communications department. So you kind of say, we're asking how much money do you want to pay, but really we're telling you that we're not asking you how much money you want to pay. So, that's all.
Thank you, Mr. Andrews.
Mr. Melendez?
I just feel like since Aaron did this himself and he took initiative, that it should be his choice on how he wants to do the survey. If he thinks that going to classes will get a better response than doing an online survey or having someone else make it up, maybe that's how we should go first and then try again.
Point of information.
Yes.
Mr. Zendy, there's an appropriate way to carry out research that comes after it. So
Okay.
that's basically what everybody at this table is agreeing on saying.
Only 2 people agreed up there, but I'm just saying maybe he should do it since he wanted to do it that way.
You'll be next, Chris. You also, Mr. Melendez?
Yeah.
Dr. Keys?
I live in the city of Providence. When I leave the classroom at 7:20, I'll be home at 7:40. It takes 20 minutes. If I were to rely on, and I live in the city, if I were to rely on the bus, it will take me an hour to get home. If I walk a mile and a half, which I personally don't mind, but it's still an hour and a half walk out there. If I were to go by bus all the way to get home, it would take me 2 hours or more. Now, we have students who are from Woonsocket to Westville, from Foster to Newport. How many of those will be able to get home, work, wherever they go, within a reasonable fraction of the time that it will take them to just get in a car and drive?
Point of information.
Let me add something, because I lived for a longer period of time in 2 cities, London and Berlin, and both of them have a wonderful public system, and I would never drive a car in any of these 2 cities, wouldn't even consider it. But the stress here is on the public transportation system. It's a combination of several modes of transportation which you change and which get you very fast from one point to another. Relying entirely on buses like RIC here in Rhode Island, in my opinion, is completely unrealistic. That's the comment that crossed my mind when I was listening to the gentleman who came here to sell us on this idea.
What's your point of information?
Dr. Nicholas, Rhode Island, because of its small size, only has buses as our method of public transportation. We do not have a subway line like large cities like New York or Boston. So that is why the stress here is on RICTA. And it's also not to make students rely on RICTA bus services with the UPass program, but the UPass program would offer an alternative to students who live within a reasonable distance from the school that they could take the bus. And also for students who rely on the bus, so they don't have to pay that extra $45 fee per month to ride the bus. They'll be paying the fee in their tuition, and they'll be able to use the bus as needed. That's all we're trying to get at here. It's not, a question of whether or not it's feasible for all students. It's just whether or not RIC should have it with such a large commuter population. And it's currently something we don't. It's really coming down to a question of should we build more parking spaces or should we encourage people to use public transportation? But that is my information.
You also have Nicholas, or do you have anything to it?
Yeah, well, I understand that this would then be a form of subsidizing a small number of students by the fees paid by all students. I mean, that's a feasible, but then it should be named this, that we are subsidizing for a certain small number of students, the system. It is not something that should be presented to the college and to the public as enhancing modes of transportation. I'm fully aware that it's a small state, but obviously it's much larger than either of the two cities.
Mr. Buckley.
I have a couple things I feel I need to address now. About the suggestions about the survey, my utmost, hope for this, for even allowing a survey to happen, is to get the most accurate opinion of the student body possible, no matter what method we use to do it. I like a lot of the suggestions from fellow Parliament members, and going to the Department of Research. Whatever method will get the most accurate reading of the student body, I think, is the way that we're going to go with the survey. To address you, Dr. Nicholas, before I came here to RIC, I went to the Community College of Rhode Island in Lincoln for 2 years. I spent the entirety of that 2 years riding RIPTA, and it was hell. But I still got to class every day. And I know that there are plenty of students I know myself who live on main avenues like Smith Street, Mount Pleasant, Douglas Avenue, Admiral Street, buses that also connect to RIC that could take the bus system, take it to school and not have to drop tons of money on a car just to get to campus. Also, there are plenty of students, even if you drive a car on this campus, that could take a bus down city to go to the movies, that could, instead of getting in a car, drinking alcohol, and going out to clubs, could do what Providence College does and take the bus down city with their friends, have fun at the clubs, and then take a bus from down city back here to RIC and not have to worry about drunk driving or accidents at all. Mr. McCormick, when he came here, said that if Rhode Island College did subscribe to the UPass program, that RIPTA would then be able to continue to invest in providing more routes to campus, with longer hours and also on Sundays, so I can go to church. And B, we could also go, we would have an additional bus shelter and possibly new stops on or near campus. Now, people might not have to drive to classes, not have to ride the bus to classes. They can still ride the bus to go grocery shopping or to go downstate to the mall to go see a movie, go on dates, etc. So I think that a lot of students could benefit from this. And third, I hear what has been said about subsidizing a small number of students who would be parking, who take the bus and don't have cars, a small number. But I don't drive, and I pay for parking for upkeep of the parking lots on campus, some of the plowing, the salting, the sanding, all the stuff, and I'm not benefiting from that.
Thank you, Mr. Buckley. Mr. Holland.
I actually know what I was going to say. I read everything I was going
Sure, we can come back to you. Mr. Cavallo. Mr. Olson.
I just would like to say that I think that it's wonderful that this program will be report for the college, and I hope that there are buses that come to the campus, because I understand, I'm well aware that this is community campus, and I think a lot of people would benefit from it, so I think it's wonderful that the right resolution was worked for, and I want to say thank you for that.
Mr. Howell. Mr. James.
Never mind.
Mr. Now?
Really quickly, the purpose of this resolution is to show support in the concept, you know, when I read over what Mr. Buckley had come up with and things, I wanted to, you know, we talked about it. The concept of it is good as long as the students support it, because ultimately it's the students paying for it. And one of the questions that was asked to me, you know, I wouldn't be supportive of paying for something I'm not going to use. Well, not everybody uses the rec center. Not everybody takes advantage of every club that's on campus, or even one club that's on campus. Probably the majority of the students don't. I haven't been to the library in a while. I do most of my research either at the public library in Cranston or at home. Probably use the bathroom there, that's about it. You know, and there are certain things that folks don't use that they pay for, probably don't realize they're paying for it. And if everybody wanted to get involved in a club, well, we wouldn't have the funds to do it. You know, we kind of bank on the fact that not everybody's going to use it. We try to get as most people as possible on it. But this is another one of those things. I think it will be very similar to every fee should it be implemented. The purpose of this resolution is to present to the president of the college the idea, present the fact that we're in support of it, and to ask her to use the resources to make the survey happen with our help. I feel, and I think, I hope Mr. Buckley would agree that, you know, we want to have a credible survey that academic folks come up with to make sure that it can't be challenged one way or the other if we move forward or if we don't. Because if we move forward and a student says, why is this on my bill? We can say, well, you know, X amount of % supported it, more than 50, and this is why. We want to make sure that we cover ourselves. So that's really the essence of the resolution. You know, and I think that students will take advantage of it, whether or not they come to college, be college, or they're going elsewhere. I certainly would, because I don't like finding a parking spot every day, and I don't like my car getting smashed, you know, when somebody opens the door. So I think that'll also alleviate part of the parking problem on campus. So it's multifaceted. And we just want to be able to give this to Dr. Carriolo and say we're supportive of this concept as long as the students as a whole are as well.
Mr. Patterson?
I'm not really sure of complete relevance of this, but if you were to basically put a banner up in Donovan saying, you know, rip the pass free, or like rip the pass for $10 for like every student, you know, and you know, say it was like held at say it was held at the info desk. If you counted the amount of kids that actually came, like would that be like an incorrect way to survey?
I don't know the answer to that question.
It would be because the majority of students never even entered on
The commuters who drive cars will probably not be going down as frequently as the resident students.
The way I would answer that question is, you know, you'd have to ask somebody who does surveys for it. I don't. I can tell you where to file a parking lot, but I don't know how to, you know, how to answer that question.
I just wanted to address a couple of comments that were, kind of come up every once in a while about this. And I don't want people to get the impression that I'm making these comments because I'm against this resolution, but I just want to try to make sure if we pass it, we understand, and actually if this a fee is established and we enter into this program, people understand what is possibly going to happen. My own take on this, when Tim McCormick was here from RIP, he had said that other schools that enter into these programs, they see an increase in ridership of their students, like 5-fold or 10-fold or something like that. So, you know, you might have 200 people riding RIP to buses now, but you have a program like this and you're going to have, 800 or more riding it. And I think we'll see that because I think of sort of the nature of our population. But I really don't think we're going to see as much ridership of commuters coming to campus. I think people are going to take the bus to go down to the mall. I think people are going to take the bus to go from one location to their cousin's house or whatever. But I don't really think it's. I think that the idea. I think we will see some fewer cars coming to campus. But the idea of passing this, you know, or entering this program, suddenly opening up parking lots everywhere on campus, you know, it's just an opinion, but my own opinion is I don't think we're going to see huge benefits there. If you think this is a good idea just because, you know, we're going green and trying to save planet Earth and you know, some of the other residual benefits associated with it, you know, fine. You know, let's be realistic about that. But it's a lot like, you know, Dr. Nicholas said that some people are just not going to ride it because it's inconvenient. At least not to campus, but they might ride from one location to another. So basically, by passing it, you're subsidizing ridership that really has nothing to do with the college, which has always sort of, you know, kind of bothered me about it. But I mean, there are certainly positive reasons to have enter into the UPass program.
Thank you, Dr. Kane. Mr. Spinner.
I think we should commend Mr. Buckley for the work he's done on this resolution. What happens if your car breaks down? What happens if you can't call your parents? Don't have money for a taxi? Students need a plan B. My teacher told me that, my professor told me that you can't call them because, oh, my car's stalled. You have to have things to do, fall back on. You can't just rely on your car all the time. What happens if your engine goes out? Something happens. You can't always rely on that vehicle when you drive up. So this also helps commuters as well as students on campus. I had 2 people text me yesterday, do you have a bus pass? No, because I had to ride to school, so I didn't have to rely on that. So those students don't have to call me. They can just slide their card. So I think it would be better if all of us had our own way of getting to campus and off campus. It's also security. You don't have to rely on going to the back parking lot by yourself and getting mugged. You can go wait over there and wait in the waiting area for transportation. What if your cell phone's not working? You can't call a ride. You have that slot thing. So I think that we should think hard on this. That it's $20, he said, at the most, or a little bit more. But look at the other fees that we're paying for. To sit down, I think you pay $60. $20.
Whether you eat there or not.
Whether you eat there or not, you pay $60. So $20 to ride the bus, whether you're using it or not. To do the ratio, it's not that bad. So I think that we should think about this.
Mr. Spinner?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
I completely agree with Dr. King that we are kind of subsidizing off-campus ridership, but I think we'll see more of a group of students that left college because they had to choose, you know, are we gonna, how do I get there? Can I, you know, what else do I need to pay for? Do I need a car to get to school? Like I can't get to school, how do I, you know, it's a waste of money. So I think we'll see a return of non-traditional students or students coming back to finish their degrees. Then I also think that it'll really foster more of a campus life that's really already growing because students who live here might be inclined not to bring their cars because now they have another way to get to work. They'll hang out here more because they can gather here and all leave from one central point on the bus or something to go somewhere. So I think it does have cons where, yes, if you don't use it, you are subsidizing the people that use it. But if you do use it, you know, 4 or 5 times on the bus covers the cost of what you just paid. So if everybody took the bus, 2 or 3 times, you know, you probably broke even with what you spent.
Thank you, Mr. Kelly. Ms. Almeida?
I just have a suggestion when in regards to doing surveys, seeing that all of us sitting around this table, or most of us I should say, represent a certain constituency, it may be beneficial for each of us to go back to those people and ask a certain number. Like for example, I would ask 30 people in the special ed department their opinion, have them fill out the survey, do that over a semester. That would be a good way to get information from students all over campus.
All set?
Yeah.
Thank you, Ms. Almeida. Mr. Dooley?
Motion to call question.
Second. Motion's been made and seconded to call the question made by Mrs. Dooley, seconded by Mr. Banal. There's no discussion. All those in favor of calling the question, say aye. Aye. Opposed? No. Mr. Holland opposes? Abstentions? Motion carries. The question on the table is to approve the resolution as presented by Mr. Buckley and Mr. Banal. All those in favor of approving the resolution, say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. Abstentions? Mr. Holland abstains, Mr. Patterson abstains, and you don't have to abstain.
I don't have
And the motion carries. Mr. Holland abstains as well.
No, I don't.
You don't abstain as well. You have a comment? Yes.
Aaron and I got the president, and we're going to do this, we're going to email her and make an appointment. So, Aaron, you down? We're going to go to the president together.
Yeah, that's fine.
And we're going to give the steward and instruct the folks who create the survey to create the survey and distribute it.
Okay. Next order of business is new business, item A, SCG budget, Treasurer Kelly.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In order to send our budgets and our payroll requests to the Finance Commission hearings coming up in a couple of weeks, Parliament does need to approve them. I did, however, leave a section blank. I don't feel that any of the officers should be discussing our own stipends or making a decision on them. I'm going to explain what I changed in the budget request, and then I'd like to open the floor for 15 minutes for discussion. Yeah, you're going to need to watch me. I just want to get a discussion rather, I'll make a motion in a minute. Just keep discussion short, and I've talked with the officers. We're going to try not to put in our personal opinions on this, whether we're planning on running again or not. Really, it should be up to the body as a whole to make a decision on what your officers are doing. So I'd like to make a motion that we have discussion at 15 minutes for the stipend.
Second. Motion made by Mr. Kelly, seconded by Ms. Almeida. All those in favor of capping discussion at 15 minutes on the SCG operating budget, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Abstentions. Motion carries.
Alright, real quick, I only changed a few small sections. Line 111, I increased $500 to $3,000. In the past, it was up around $5,500. So we're still well under, what some of the inflated rates we've used before. If you jump down to line 232, advertising, I also increased that $500. And our food service line item, where'd it go? There we go. Right above it, right below it. I left the same even though we're using it more, because we can always add into that later. We'll see how different committees use it next year. Probably the largest increase on here would be Parliament. Your stipend stayed the same, but there's more seats and there's more people involved, so we have to set aside a larger amount of money to fund that. All right, I'd like to open it up for discussion on stipends. Currently, our stipends total $16,576 for all 6 officers.
You want this 15-minute discussion just be for the stipend?
Just for the stipend, yeah.
All right. I see a motion to take that particular item out of the total request. So
why?
Right now, the motion on the discussion will be for the entire budget. If you want to just discuss that one thing, you need a motion to discuss just that one item.
Okay, let's do that.
So it takes just a second.
Just one thing.
Just the stipend.
Yeah, do I have to repeal my previous motion?
No.
Motion to approve everything besides that first.
Okay, that works too. Second. But you're on the floor, so.
I don't know if we can approve just that, because there's one thing we need the total at the bottom to approve the budget. But yeah, I'll repeal my motion to limit to 15 minutes. And
You don't have to.
I don't have to repeal?
No. If you want to limit discussion to a certain thing, you have to make a motion to limit discussion to this item.
I motion to limit discussion to just the stipends of officers and limit the time frame to 15 minutes.
Second.
Point of information.
Yes.
Will we also be given some time to ask questions about the other?
Yes.
Yes, at the conclusion of discussion on that, yep.
Alright.
The time limit thing is already passed, so it's just a motion to limit discussion to the stipend.
Okay.
Motion made by Mr. Kelly, seconded by Mr. Bonanno. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, the motion is to limit discussion to just the stipend for the next 15 minutes. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Mr. Kelly is on the floor.